All right, we are live now. Good evening and welcome to the North Carolina Cryptid and Paranormal Project. I just want to welcome everybody and say, how's everyone doing tonight? Everyone have a blessed day and hope you're getting through a wonderful weekend. I have Nick Valente as my guest tonight, and he's going to be talking about Dogman. And if we can get to the point where we have enough to talk about, we'll try to fit in a little bit of Jersey Devil because I'm from New Jersey, and he knows a little bit about that as well. So without further ado, here's Mr. Nick.
How are you, Tom?
All right. So I've heard a lot about your, I've heard you on several shows. I've heard you on several podcasts talking about Dogman. I knew you were recently doing some things with, talking about LBL and the whole new story. And, I won't go there because there's a lot of controversy about that. And I know there's certain biased feelings about that. And I know you have your beliefs and you have what your research based on the facts that you picked up and Jody Cook, which I plan on having him on in the future as well. And then all this stuff that came out. And, a lot of people are saying that it's a misinformation agent, kind of like how Richard Doty did back in the 80s with all the UFO stuff.
Right.
But who knows? And it's not, it's not my zoo, not my monkeys, not my zoo, not my circus.
Well, the thing is, if you listened, I got to interview that gentleman on Josh Turner's show, Paranormal Roundtable.
Right. Yes, I remember listening to that.
It was after Jody Cook was on with him. Because I don't think, anything came across the right way when Jody was speaking with this man. I wanted to go at it from my perspective as a former law enforcement officer. And I proved to myself, at least, that he was not telling the truth. I got a lot of Facebook Messenger messages. I got emails. I got some telephone calls. I got a lot of people in support of what I was trying to get across. What I was trying to get across is that a lot of the stuff he was saying about what the law enforcement did, and even the so-called secret people who never gave him their names, to me, I felt it was bunk. It was all bunk because never would a police officer, law enforcement agent of the FBI or anybody ever take a 15-year-old boy back to the crime scene, let him go past the crime tape, pollute the crime scene, look into the trailer, which is full of blood and body parts and gore. Why? Number one, it's going to mess his head up. Talk about PTSD. That's like a lifelong thing. No way are they get. Plus, he was not just a witness. He was a suspect.
Yeah.
So I mean, come on. A lot of the stuff he said, I was very nice with the gentleman, and
you gave him a fair shot. You gave him a fair shot, and I heard the whole thing. You gave him a clear you gave him his time to say what he had to say. You were polite to him. You didn't judge him, and you made your decision based on your law enforcement background. I mean, you're the professional at that, where you can interview people based on suspectual habits of how they tell you a story. You could figure that out. I mean, it doesn't take much training, especially with your training. So, I mean, you figured it out. So
I attended classes in Quantico, interview and interrogation, and I only wish I was in front of him when I was doing it, but I am 99% sure without even being in front of him. I am 99% sure that he was just fabricating something. A very rehearsed story, by the way, very well rehearsed.
Well, he had 30 years to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And that's what everybody thinks. So you had 30 years to, make up a story about that. Because, I mean, all the stories I've heard were, kind of based on what Kumbo said. And what's the lady's name that worked in the market? Was her name Ann?
You mean a former reporter?
No, the lady that worked in the gas station the night after it happened.
Oh, Ann, right.
Ann. So, I mean, based upon after her testimonies and what Kumbo said, and just there, I mean, I'm not just going to base everything on what Kumbo said because there's more details involved with, further stories I've heard over and over again, and everything correlates with each other until this came out. But we'll put that baby to rest, because there's just so much controversy. But when did you start searching Dogman? What made you want to research? I know you said you were into cryptozoology and all that, but what got you into the Dogman, or just basic cryptids, period?
Well, going back even further than that, I started in the paranormal realm. I used to do the ghost investigations and demons and the like. I started that when I was actually 11. And it's only because my mom had 2 encounters with a spirit, a ghost. And, when she was younger, and she told me about it, and kind of piqued my interest. She didn't try to get me into it. She just told me what happened to her as a young girl of 14 and 15. And it happened to her twice, where she saw this lady's spirit around near these flowers that this lady who at the time was passed, she was deceased. My mom bent down to pick a flower, and she saw her spirit in front of her, and the lady, told her no. And then she saw her a year later when she was 15 again in the same general area. My mom told me about it, and it kind of got me interested. So I did the paranormal stuff for a while, and it was really unsatisfactory for me. I didn't get too much out of it. I didn't get to prove too much. My mantra is to prove or to disprove. I'm not going to BS anybody, because Tom, I don't make any money out of this. I've lost money since doing Dogman.
Well, you front everything with out of your own pocket. Everything's on your own dime.
Everything. I mean, the patches I designed, I had them made up. They have the Velcro backing and everything, and I mailed them out to my people at my own cost, who requested a patch, because I want to build an interest in the Dogman community. But just to get back to what I was saying, after that, I picked up a book on the Yeti, and that's what got me going into cryptozoology. And then right near the Yeti book happened to be something on Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster.
Right.
And then the Abominable Snowman, and all these other cryptids were coming out, and I was buying books at a young age. So I started reading that, and by young age, I mean like 19. And I was in college at the time also. So I'm reading all this stuff, and it's been like close to 23 years now that I've been doing cryptozoology. And little by little, I got into cryptozoology really heavy, and I started doing field work, because I was reading about the field work that a lot of these cryptozoologists did out there. And I read dozens upon dozens of books. And to me, the best way to research something is by going to newspaper articles, old ones. Mm-hmm. So I started traveling throughout the country where I heard that there was a cryptid here or a cryptid there, or what was this, what was that. I've been to the Four Corners. I've been to, Mothman. I love Mothman, one of my big ones in West Virginia. I've been there. I've been to the TNT, the dynamite factory where it's first seen, all over the place. I've been across the border, Chad Juarez, across the border, in Texas into Mexico, chasing after the chupacabra. I actually saw a dead body of a chupacabra. And like I said, my mantra, prove or disprove.
Wow.
And I've gotten Facebook Messenger messages, emails, phone calls. I even got a couple of letters. People are really mad at me because, oh, you said what it was. We make our living out of writing about it, and we got T-shirts and mugs and this and that. You're killing our business. How much can I kill your business? Seriously, I've been on maybe 30 shows, on YouTube or here and there. I'm just trying to tell you what I found. If I find something and I find that it's not real, if it's a natural thing, then it's a natural thing. Like the Komodo dragon. It's a dragon. Yeah, it came from the dragon family, but it's only on 4 islands, 4 Indonesian islands. And I'm going if I found it, I'm going to tell people it's not a real dragon. It's a live zoological animal.
About bigger than a dog, though, and it could probably eat a cat. So
it's way bigger. It's way bigger, and they're vicious. And if you're out there, it'll come after you, and they're fast.
I heard they're pretty. I mean, I've seen some videos on one of those Discovery channels on the island where they saw them, and them things move. I mean, they just, even in the water, they slither around like 10 knots an hour.
You wouldn't think they were that fast on land, just like an alligator. Mm-hmm. But I mean, these things have bigger legs than an alligator, and they can move. For the span of about 40 to 45 feet, they could really get up there at about 30 miles an hour.
Wow.
You know, they bite you. They have a poison in their mouth. They bite you, and it'll knock you out, and then they just rip you apart.
So you mentioned a chupacabra. You've seen a dead chupacabra. What was the best description you can give on what it looked like? Because there's so many. A lot of people say it has that. It's the mix between a coy dog and a wolf, or Mexican red wolf, and it has like that mangy grayish skin with blue eyes. What was your?
Yes, it's a bluish skin. What I want to describe to you is what I saw was about. I took a tape measure to it. It's about 38 inches long from the nose to the butt. It was a bluish grayish skin, no hair. There was hair along the ridge line going right down the back, about an inch thick of hair. It's a combination to me. Now, mind you, I have a bachelor's in zoology. I'm working on a master's right now. To me, it looked like a combination of a coyote and a wolf.
Wow.
That's what it looked like to me. And it's a pretty hefty looking thing. Now, the thing is with the chupacabra is this animal, this hybrid animal to me, it attacks goats and chickens and dogs even, and, the stuff that you would have around a farmyard, right, because they're no longer able to hunt properly. They have a skin disease. And this skin disease is likened to if an adult gets the German measles, and you get you're just scratchy and everything, and it drives them crazy, and they're no longer able to hunt. So what they do is they just go after the easy pickings. I mean, getting a chicken by the neck and biting it, and they don't suck the blood out, by the way. Just to recap, what happened was I had a friend of mine, Tom, his name is Tom also. Awesome. He lives down in Texas, and he heard about this farmer who had a farmer rancher, because down there they're cowboys. Oh, yeah. Down in Mexico. Like I said, it's in Chad Juarez, Mexico. Right across the border. He runs a ranch, but he also has farm animals. My buddy Tom heard about it. Tom speaks fluent Spanish. He's been living down here in Texas for, good 25 years now. He told me about it. I flew there. We got in his SUV. We went over, got our passports, went across the border. We went and we saw this Mexican cowboy rancher. And the universal way to get people to talk, he wanted $20 American.
Yeah.
So I gave him $20 American. He let me see what this thing was. He shot this thing. It had destroyed 4 of his animals.
Oh, wow.
He also had sheep, very scrawny looking sheep. And what it did was, just like a dog, it went for the neck. Mm-hmm. Okay? And yeah, it had puncture marks. But when we looked at the mouth had the 2 fangs here, which were, I'd say, I'm motioning to you, you can't see, but probably about a good 2-inch. Okay. 2-inch fang over here, and that was the puncture wounds, and that's what killed the animal, because it hit the nerve endings on the spine and back of the neck. Now, it killed one animal in particular I'll talk about is the sheep that it killed. I asked this gentleman if I could cut open the sheep in the belly area, because I wanted to prove that there was still blood in it, mm-hmm, because there was no blood outside of the sheep.
Right.
And I said to him, through my buddy Tom, I said, there is blood in that sheep. He goes, no blood. Okay. He wanted another $20. So I paid him another $20. And in all due conscience, I had to do it, because I'm there. I flew all that way.
You had to find out.
I had to find out. I mean, big deal. That's cheap.
What's $20? That's nothing.
That's cheap entertainment for me, for anything. I mean, God, I'll throw that on a lunch easy. So, okay, here's your $20. But he wouldn't let me cut it open, because he wanted to shear the sheep, the skin off of the sheep. That's what he explained to my buddy. So he cut it open. He put it on its back, cut open the belly, opened it up. No blood came pouring out. I pointed out an artery for him to cut. Mm-hmm. He did cut the artery. No blood came out of the artery. You could see the red gel in it.
Right.
That was the coagulated blood. Once an animal is dead, the heart stops beating. Mm-hmm. It stops pumping blood. And what happens is the blood in the animal's coagulated.
That's platelets
and it
too, isn't it?
In there. What's that?
Platelets.
Yeah. It just stayed in there. So, that actually made my day. And I put that out in an article a while ago. A lot of people didn't like that because they believe in the chupacabra. And it's a funny thing. The chupacabra didn't start in Mexico. It started in Puerto Rico.
I was just going to say the Puerto Rican version of a chupacabra is a total different description of what they say it is in Mexico. It almost looks like an alien with like a spike going down its back, and it's like a little, pointy claws, and it's like almost like a greenish color.
Do you know why? Do you know why it looks like that? And it's described in Puerto Rico by any chance?
Why is that?
All right. Well, the gentleman that put it out was a DJ. It's a Puerto Rican DJ, and he put it out. And he interviewed this lady who was the eyewitness. Mm-hmm. She had, now, at the time when the chupacabra was first reported, they were doing the movie in Aliens in Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. All right? Hollywood was doing the movie there. This lady admitted to him that she did see the movie the night before. And she was out walking around, and she saw something. I don't know what she saw, but it wasn't a real chupacabra, I'll tell you that much. She saw this, and her imagination just took over from seeing that movie. She admitted that she was so frightened and taken back by the movie, and that's where it came out of. That's the story for Puerto Rico. Then it developed in Mexico, got it. Do you know we got chupacabra reportings in Russia? We have chupacabra reportings in Maine. Wow. I mean, all over the place, if you really look at it. And you study the different reports. So, but like I said, I got into cryptozoology to prove or to disprove, and field investigation is my forte. Mm-hmm. And I've been north, south, east, and west. I've been down to the Pine Barrens in New Jersey, looking after, trying to research the Jersey Devil. And unfortunately, I did find what the Jersey Devil is. I've been to Colorado, Washington State, that area up there looking for Sasquatch. I never got to see one. I heard the wood knocks. We saw some of the Sasquatch. Some people call them Sasquatch huts.
Right.
I've been over the
huts.
Yeah, I've been over the border into Canada several times looking for Wendigo.
Oh wow.
My cousin is married to an Algonquin Indian who from the First Nation people in Canada, and they met when they were going to school together in Minnesota. That's how they met, and she liked him and he liked her. I guess they got married, and she moved up there to Canada. And I will bring up bags of Black Rifle coffee, a veteran-owned establishment, and he loves Black Rifle coffee. And I'll tell you something, we've stayed up nights up to like 3:30 in the morning talking. And all I got to do is ply him with this Black Rifle coffee, and he'll tell me anything. But it's strange that when in the United States, I visited many, many, many different Native American Indian tribes. And I'm going to tell you something, they will not talk to me. 2 reasons, because I'm white. Number 1, they don't want to talk to you about it. And number 2, it's because they're superstitious, that if you talk about it, it's going to come after them.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a big thing because I mean, I'm not native. At least I don't think I am any native blood in me. But my uncle, he lives in Colorado now. But he back in the early '80s, he took the ways of the natives. He adopted their ways, and he took me to powwows as a kid. He took me to Sweat Lodge. He actually did the Sundance thing where you hang from the deer. They take deer horn antlers,
right,
and they hang and they pierce their chest. And then they hang from a tree and dance. Well, he actually did that.
Oh,
I don't know what caused him to want it. I don't know if that's some kind of initiation, but he actually did that back in the late '80s. But he would take me on these expeditions out in Pennsylvania. One guy had a sweat lodge on his property out in Pennsylvania, and I just remember him telling me, this guy that owned the land, like I was kind of worried about going out in the woods alone. He's like, don't worry about going out there because the protectors of the forest will, they'll protect you. They won't let nothing happen to you. And I really didn't think of anything like that back then because I wasn't really into the whole cryptid thing. But right. When I think about it, I'm like, man, they're probably talking about the Sasquatches protecting the, all the children because they will protect children because there's so many stories of rescuing children or bringing them back to like setting them by their family nearby if
right.
they're lost. I mean, I can't explain for the ones that go missing. That's a total different story. But when it comes to the Sasquatch, they're known for rescuing, children in despair.
Well, there's different types. I shouldn't say types. Let's just say variants of
Yes,
Sasquatch.
variants.
And up in Canada, you have a very, very vicious type of Sasquatch called a Gugway.
Yep, Gugway.
And then you have your regular Sasquatch, your type 1, and that's the one that actually protects. I think last year, a little boy was lost in the woods, and he reported that he was with a bear for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And it protected him. And it
kept him warm in the wintertime. Isn't that right, the story? I remember that.
Right. Well, that wasn't actually a bear. That was the Sasquatch from all the reports and the people I've spoken to in that area. Like I said, I'm a Dogman specialist these days, but I do all the cryptids.
Yes.
And I went into that area and I was interviewing people, and I'm going to tell you, it's amazing. That little boy has stuck to his story to the day, and he's told his mom about it.
Wow.
It's like, no other story. People really need to investigate it. But I digress here. What was I saying?
That's okay. You were kind of going about the Dogman, and
I had something to ask you, though.
Yes.
Like I said, I've spoken to Native American Indians, and they're very closed-mouthed because they believe that the shapeshifter, skinwalker, the Wendigo will come after them.
If you talk about them, you give them power.
Right.
You kind of give them energy to come and assimilate to get them.
Now, they will not talk to me. However, like I said, my cousin's husband spoke to me about the Wendigo at length. But just getting back to something you said, I was able to stay outside of a teepee, a sweat lodge teepee. I was not allowed to get within 10 feet of it, just to stay outside. When you were inside, did you have visions of anything? Because they do put certain, say, herbs in the.
Well, this was there was an adult one which we weren't allowed to go in, and then there was a youth one that me and I think 2 of his sons and another person's son did. So I think all he was doing, he was getting that rock and he was putting water on the hot rock.
All right.
And he was just kind of singing songs and beating a drum. I don't think he did it because all I didn't remember was how hot it was, how sweating it was.
Yeah.
And that I was pretty much felt like my body was melting into oblivion. So when it was over, I was really happy because we all jumped into the stream, which was down the road or across the wood path from this guy's property. And that's when we're like, well, is it okay to go in the woods by ourselves? We're not have to worry about no animals. He said, no, the protectors of the forest will make sure you're okay. I was like, okay, sure.
Right.
Oh,
man. That is something.
But I also had some encounters in Canada. I'm not going to go into details, but I was 1998. I went on a bear hunting trip in Ontario, Canada. I think it was near the Ottawa River, and it was right around the Algonquin State Park.
Right.
A place called KOA Outfitters. KOA, which is like KOA. It's like a generic place where they have camps and lodges.
Very famous.
This one was called the River Lodge. And back in 1998, there wasn't a whole lot of things being built up in Canada and that part of it. So it was mainly all wilderness at that time. So, I mean, I encountered this Bigfoot from 60 yards away. When we left the wood trail that time, it sounded like a pack of wolves, but it almost sounded like an army of, I don't know if you remember Lord of the Rings, but it sounded like the army of the orcs marching through the woods as well, along with a wolf sound. And it was flanking us from 40 to 50 yards. And every time we were moving away from the trail, it sounded like it got closer. And by the time we got out of there, luckily the person that dropped us off with the Suburban, the person that owned the hunting lodge, he picked us up and we got out of there. But it was a very close call. And, all we had was 7 mag rifles with, 4 shots in them each. So you're not going to really get too far when something that big's coming at you. I mean, I couldn't tell you if it was Dogman or Bigfoot, but whatever it was big coming at us. And luckily we got out of there in the nick of time. Like it just got lucky.
Well, I want to say something in reference to that, but first, because I am the Region 3 director of the North American Dogman Project,
right?
We are a no-kill organization. Mm-hmm. However, you are allowed to go in the forest and defend yourself. We're not out there hunting anything, but you are allowed to defend yourself. I mean, nobody's going to go in the forest and say, okay, take me out, kill me, whatever.
I mean, if your life depends on it, it's pretty much an act of self-defense because it's you or them.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what you have. If you got to worry about losing your life in the woods and one of these things is coming at you, you got to do what you got to do. And I'm also a no kill. I'm all for no kill. But if one of these things is coming at me and it wants to take me out, I mean, I'm going to use all I have. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to save one shot for myself because I ain't letting him kill. I'm letting that thing kill me. If he wants to kill me, I'm going to be dead first. That's, that's my theory.
That's one reason why when I go out into the wooded area on a field investigation, boots on the ground.
Yes.
And I've been all over the United States doing that with a team. I generally want to go out with 7-man teams, and I try not to break away from that. I only did that once, and one of the guys got injured. However, I just want to go back to what happened with you. The only way you could have defended yourself is if you had how many people with you? 3, 4 people?
It was me and my brother.
Just the two of you.
It was just the two of us. Like I said, we were the guy dropped us off for like 4 to 5 hours, and we left. He told us to stay in a tree stand until it got dark. We got out of the tree stand, walked out because we were so bored we didn't see any black bear because we're black bear hunting.
You would have had to have both coordinated firing shots at this thing.
Yeah.
You have about 4 rounds in each rifle, 5 rounds, and hope that you could take it down, whatever it is. But like we were discussing before the show, if it's a Sasquatch and it's a violent one, and if it's coming at you, it's a moving target. They've got bones 3-4 inches thick. And I mean, it's just tremendous. I mean, something like that, most people can't stand and deliver. You know, the old saying the British used to have, stand and deliver. It means don't retreat. You stand there and defend yourself right up into the end. And I'll tell you, that's the reason why I carry, and my teammates all carry different items with us in order to defend ourselves while we're out there. Besides carrying, I'll be honest with you, 308 with 200 grain solid core bullets, and that's the rifle, and a 10 millimeter Glock. Once again, 200 grain bullets. Because if it'll take down a bear, we feel that. If it'll,
we had a little buffer.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I don't know if it was my connection, your connection, but go on about self-defense because that's a good thing. I mean, we could talk about your items of safety when you're going out and investigating as well.
Well, I was just saying that 200 grain bullets will take down a bear, a grizzly, and if it'll take that down, well, then it'll take mostly anything else down. How many times you have to hit it, I don't know, but I mean, a 308 rifle, if you're trained well enough with it, you put first of all, I put 1 round down the pipe, take the mag out, and put another one in there because I want 11 rounds in there. That's what I want to, have when it's ready to rock and roll. As far as the Glock, you've got a bunch of rounds in that also, and you're going to be firing for your life. But you're going to stand there and you're going to stand your ground. I don't know if it's too early in the program to show some of the goodies that we carry, but I'd like to.
Let's see some of these safety precautionary things because, like I said, my main objective is to get people awareness, and safety is part of awareness when you're out investigating, because I go out boots on the ground and I don't always bring I don't bring anything what you brought except for a firearm and maybe a camera or my phone, and that's about it. But I don't go really far. I mean, my backyards, I got 60 plus acres of untouched forest that is very squatchy, and I just investigate it whenever I can. And every now and then I'll drive maybe 20 miles to go to another hot spot nearby. And that's about, between work and life and everything else, it's kind of hard to do everything that I want to do, but I make it do. So let's see what you got here. Let's see your goodies.
I'm trying to get a light on this thing to, see a certain ingredient I want to bring out. Okay. What I want to, before we even talk about fighting a cryptid or natural type of animal like a bear or a mountain lion,
right,
defending yourself, first thing you got to defend yourself against is the mosquitoes and the ticks.
Exactly.
And the spiders. And, you get bitten by one of those. I'll tell you a story a little later on about a group of people that my team came upon, and the lady was screaming because she was leaning up against a tree and she got bit by a spider.
Hopefully it wasn't a brown recluse.
And well, it was a pretty big bite. And I'm trying to find the one.
Well, I know for brown recluse sketch, you only got a certain amount of time to get to a hospital because you can actually get like a, your actual joints or part of whatever body part. It can get like a gangrene poison and almost you lose a limb, pretty much.
The skin, when a recluse bites you, the skin will blacken and it dies, and it spreads and it spreads and it just dies. They have to find a way to stop it. Something we use, and we'll spray it here, spray it on your neck, your face, your head. A natural repellent.
Okay.
I don't know if I can get that over here to you. It's
I can see it.
Tick, and it's called Nantucket Spider. However, this protects you against not only just spiders but ticks, big time. Okay. I mean, that's just the name of the company. But just to let everybody see it, extra strength tick. Mosquitoes will go away from this. There's no DEET in here. Mm-hmm. It's a natural thing. I don't make any money by advertising this. This just happens to be the best stuff on the market that I found, because I'll spray this on my boots, around my ankles, socks, and everything. And, on the clothes, it has cedar in it. Mm-hmm. That's a big, big, big thing. Anybody that knows anything about, about when they're trying to protect their flowers, their plants, their vegetables, they know that if you put cedar out there, that, the bugs will probably stay away from it. And I'll tell you, the deer don't really like this either, because there was some deer biting on my next door neighbor's little garden. And she sprayed this around there just for the heck of it, because I told her about it for use outside, and they don't seem to come near it anymore.
Oh, wow.
Actually, they come to my deck now because I put out a salt lick about yay big.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I mean, it's just cool to see about 30 deer out there waiting their turn to lick a salt lick. All right, so that's for your own protection against bugs. The number one thing I recommend people buying when they go out into the forest area is bear spray. This right here. Now here's bear spray. I'll carry 2 of these. One in my backpack, one right on my vest. And for this here,
quick access, right on your vest, like boom, boom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this here next to it. Now, see, this will shoot in a conical spray, 30 feet.
Oh, wow.
So you really can't miss a bear if it's coming at you, or a mountain lion if it's coming at you. A Sasquatch, a Dogman. Now, remember, these animals have a nasal scent 40 times stronger. They're able to pick up a scent 40 times to 48 times more than a human. Mm-hmm. Their hearing is just phenomenal. You think you're standing still, they could hear you breathing. All right? And their eyesight for nighttime, the reason they have eye shine is because they can actually see better at nighttime than we can. And it corresponds to during the daytime also. They do have very sharp vision. But anyway, this here will attack their vision, their sense of smell, and it'll burn right up their nose and their face and everything, and they will go away. This has been proven, like we were talking about before, against bear, mountain lion, and alligator. I was down in Florida in the Everglades with a team that was protecting a movie show people. I won't say which one. It's one of the ones on television where they go all over the place and they show people about certain things, in nature and, different wildlife. But we were protecting the television crew, and a group of tourists were being led around by the state park ranger. He tripped near the swamp area. He was about a good 10, maybe 12 feet away from the water. Out of that water came a gator. We estimate the gator was a 10 or 11 footer.
Oh, wow.
And it was going right at him. And people were screaming and yelling, gator, gator, gator. And this thing was moving. It was moving. The forest ranger took out his bear spray, which was a little bit bigger than this one. This is a personal bear spray. This shoots a stream. He took out his personal one right off his vest, turned and shot it, hit the alligator right in the face. The gator, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, was doing this, trying to hit its face. It did a death roll in the dirt and finally wound up going back into the water and disappeared. I mean, that man was lucky, because in the least, this thing could have bit him in the leg.
It could have got him, yeah.
It's just not something you want. But I do recommend that everybody go into the woods with bear spray. And I want to say something else, though. Learn how to use it. You see this white thing? That's the safety. It's got to come off. You grab and you can spray at that point. All right, but you got to take the safety. I mean, if you point this and spray it with the safety on, you're going to be like,
it's almost like a fire extinguisher with the little metal pin inside it. You got to take that little pin clip out,
exactly,
before you can eject the chemical.
Right. Learn how to use this thing. Now, the reason why I carry this personal pepper spray, this is to be used on a human, but you can use this on a bear or anything else. Mm-hmm. Quick story on this one. I'm not a hunter, and I don't try to kill animals at all. But I was up with a buddy of mine, and he's a hunter, and he was looking for deer, and it was bow season. He bought one of these things. What is it? You screw it into the side of a tree, and you can. It's like a ladder. You screw it in, and then you put another one. He put a stand up about 22 feet up off the ground. Is what I'm trying to get at. Real nice big stand with sides on two of the sides, so you don't just accidentally fall off. And I mean, it's a very comfortable thing. The two of us were up there. It's early in the morning, about 7:30. He pulls out a McDonald's bag and starts chewing on one of them Egg McMuffin with sausage things. And I'm looking at him going, "Are you crazy? What are you doing?" I said, "Can't the deer smell this?" "Oh, it'll draw them if anything." I said, "Yeah, it'll draw something else." Sure as shit, it drew a black bear.
Oh, wow.
And it looked like to be a teenage black bear, but it was, I got to say, somebody must have been brushing this thing, or I don't know what's going on, but the coat looked beautiful. I mean, I'm observing this while this thing is coming towards the tree that we're up 22 feet up. This black bear stood up on its hind legs. It starts coming up the tree. Do you know bear can climb trees?
Bear can climb a tree. Don't ever try to climb a tree, run a bear right up at you.
So I'm looking at my buddy saying, "We're in trouble because this thing's coming up. Drop the damn Egg McMuffin on its face. Maybe it'll go down." He's going, no. I said to him, "Well, we're going to have to do something," because I didn't want to get torn apart by a bear once it got up there. We have no advantage. So what I did was I pulled out my spray here, which was on my vest, and I shot it in the nose. And the bear dropped 10 feet right to the ground. Tom, I'm going to tell you something. A bear is 10 times stronger than a human, and this thing hit the ground from 10 feet. I know if I would have fell 10 feet down to the ground, I would have been shocked. I would have been, really weakened. This thing didn't even flinch. It just ran off because it was doing this with its nose, and it just ran off into the woods. So it saved me.
That's a good thing. It saved you.
I mean, I always carry it anyway. When I go shopping at ShopRite, I carry it with me, just in case. You never know. I live in the state of New Jersey where, everything's illegal. Probably this too, but
that's one of the reasons why I got the hell out of New Jersey, because they make it so. Back in 2006, it was back then you had to go through loopholes to get a pistol permit. And I moved to North Carolina. Snap of your fingers. You go to the sheriff's office. Boom, boom, boom. You're done. You want a rifle? You go to Bass Pro. They do a quick 20-minute background check. You walk out with whatever rifle you want.
But anyway, bear spray, pepper spray. Most, get the bear spray. I mean, I carry this with me in the woods also, just as a total backup, because it's small enough. But the big bear spray, you're hitting them in their senses. The other thing here, I'll get to the hot stuff real quick. The other thing I carry is electronic flashbangs. Now, if anybody knows anything about SWAT teams, they know they throw a tube, which is a flashbang, which gives 10 bangs and 10 bright flashes of light. Well, you're not allowed to carry those in the state of New Jersey or mostly other places.
Right.
But what I can carry is an electronic flashbang. And I'm going to give it to you right now, so watch your ears, people. 1, 2, 3, you toss them.
Oh, wow.
All right, let me see if I can stop them, deactivate them.
That's pretty serious badass right there.
Well, we carry 2 each of these, and there's 7 of us.
And the sound, and we said the 1500 lumens. I mean, between that, the brightness and the sound, because their hearing and their eyesight is so much more advanced than ours. That's going to really draw some of their sensitivity and flush them out. That'll get rid of them real quick, and that'll also be a safe way to do it if as long as it works, which I'm sure that will work.
Well, number one, I'm hitting them with the bear spray, and I'm throwing that out there because I want them to turn around and go away.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want them to do. So once again, we're hitting them in their eyes and we're hitting them in their ears. Now, a lot of people can't buy these things. So here's the secondary thing that we all carry. And like I showed you before, it comes with earplugs. This here is called the super whistle. Oh God, where is it?
There you go. Yep.
It's
clear. I see it now.
That's a super whistle, and I'll tell you about what they are later. Here's another one. It looks like a regular whistle, 136 decibels.
That's loud. That's loud. 136 decibels.
Whistle. The other one goes up. This one here goes up to 146 decibels. All right. So once again, we carry that also, just in case. Because you want to be able to hit them where it hurts, right over here, and it's serious ear damage. If I were to blow it now here, it would really hurt my ears and your ears. I'll be very honest with you. Something else I carry in my bag actually, but I have quick access just by reaching over into my backpack. I have access to it. All this. I'm showing you some of this stuff, not everything I carry, but this thing here is a laser. Here's the front of it. I'm going to show you by shining it to the back of me. This is a green laser. Very, very high-powered green laser. And if you could see the back here.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine if I shot you this way. Here, you're going to get a little of it. Right in the eyes. Whatever's coming at you in the eyes. They're not looking at anything. This is going to hurt. This is going to hurt big time because this is a laser. So that's another thing we all carry. Some of the inexpensive safety stuff we carry, just in case you get lost, is one of these battery-powered sticks. Instead of breaking it, this thing here will last over 2.5 hours. All right, and it blinks.
Almost like
flip it on.
That looks like what they use to fish a Bigfoot when they're out at night. Those glow lights.
We carry Lumi sticks, just in case we come across a cave or we come across a hole in the ground. We'll break like 3 Lumi sticks and throw them down. They'll last for a half hour. These things, like I said, 2.5 hours, they're still glowing, just in case you get lost because you need to get found. One other thing I got two more things left because I'm going to be doing a show on all the gadgets. Something people should have out there. This gentleman from Canada contacted me a couple weeks ago telling me about his forays into the wooded area where he is, where they're having a lot of Sasquatch. Quesadich. Hey, anyway, this gentleman's telling me he goes out there with his backpack. He has some energy bars. He has a bottle of water and his cell phone with his cell phone flashlight. And I'm like, I'm afraid for this guy because he was coming across some things, and at one point he was running for his life. Some of the stuff he was telling me, I said, you really need to get bear spray, this, that, and the other thing, the whistle, maybe a firearm or 2. And I says, most of all, 3 flashlights. Now, in the military, they say 1 is none, 2 is 1. Well, as far as I'm concerned, 3 is better. Now, I will carry 3 flashlights with me, and they're small enough. They're about yay big, and they're 4,000 lumens. Now, granted, a Streamlight 4,000 lumens is going to cost you $89. But you know what? I'm going out there, and they're rechargeable.
What do you think about those tactical ones that they sell on the infomercial? I don't know the lumens on them, but I know they're pretty bright.
No, I don't. I did buy one, and what they are is you got to pull it to, back and forth, and they don't give you the lumens that they're advertising. I'm sorry, they just don't. I've tested Streamlight as a police and a military light that they've been using like forever. Navy SEALs, DevGru has it on the end of their rifles.
I've got a Streamlight 500 lumen Streamlight, and it has the plug-in that you plug into the cigarette light of a car, and it charges it. It's rechargeable. It uses a 1860 battery, and that thing's pretty bright. Now, I got that thing about 7 years ago, and back then, that thing was probably one of the brightest ones out there. But now there's, like you said, 4,000, 5,000 lumen flashlights that are 4 or 5 inches long, and they run on batteries.
I have a 650 lumen flashlight that I don't have it down here. I have it in my everyday carry. In other words, in my pants pocket. It's Tom. It's this big.
Oh, wow.
It's about 2.5 inches big, and the diameter is like my thumb. And I'm going to tell you, it's 650 lumens.
Wow.
It's one of those 123C batteries, but I have the rechargeable batteries also. So I have about a dozen of those. I just slip them in there. You're getting 650 lumens. Why not carry it? And then I have an even smaller light that's about 1,000 lumens, and it's rechargeable. And it's about 1.5 inches long, and it's about the diameter of, oh God, I would say this here pen right here. And it's so small. Why not carry it? So I carry a couple of those. But what I want to get at is you should carry a couple of the stream lights that are, about a good 4 inches, because you want to be able to hold them, and carry a backup flashlight, carry your emergency lights, but also buy one of these, people. Here, from the front, from the side here, it's got a side light that can light everything up. All right. And on the bottom, I mean, you can see from back there, I'm lighting everything up. That it's got two different. Now, these are not that costly. What is your life worth when you're out there in the wooded area? This could stay on high power for well over 3 hours, and it's rechargeable. I have one in each of my vehicles.
What does something like that go for?
They've got different ones. This one's like $29, $28.
That's nothing. What is that? 1,000 lumens? Q-beam?
Oh, no. This thing is about 4,000 lumens, this one in particular.
Oh, wow. And that's a newer state-of-the-art Q-beam, not like the old style. They went by candle powered. Everything goes by lumens now.
Yeah, and it has the side light here also. But you press this part here, and suddenly you're getting, a lot of light. I mean, you need to light things up out there. Now, when I'm out there, I do have a bump helmet, and that's a 3/4 helmet. It goes around the ears, and in the middle, I'm going to carry a headlight up there. You can take it off the strap, and you can put the headlight. And believe it or not, those headlights are rechargeable. They're about 1,200 lumens on high, and it's hands-free. Tom, it's hands-free.
That's so good.
At nighttime, remember, the animals have the advantage. You're the interloper at that point. They can see you. You can't see them.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're out there at nighttime, you need to light the area up. And I just, one last thing, not trying to be Mr. Tough Guy or anything, but I am not going to run. I'm going to stand and deliver if something's coming at me. And I am not going to run because it's going to catch you. And if you run right away, they know you're the prey.
That's a lot. Everyone says if you don't run, either you back out slow or you stand your ground. It's you got two choices. So we're breaking up.
I think we're back now.
You're back. Yep.
All right. My last ditch, and I paid quite a pretty penny for it, is this little baby here, and it's right here on my vest. I don't know if you can see it very well. I will keep it here on my vest. I have a vest that I wear. And this is my last ditch thing. It's called a Zero Dark 30 blade. And as you'll see, if I have to, I'm going to take it with me. It's serrated over here. It's razor sharp here, razor sharp there. And it's my last ditch thing because I'm not going to run. You might as well not run. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. You might as well just stand there and, try to take out whatever it is that's trying to take you out because it's going to come after you. And if you run, you're now the prey. And it's definitely going to come after you. If it's a mountain lion.
That's basically with any animal as well, too, out in the woods and the wild. When you run from a grizzly bear, a wolf, coyote, cougar, bobcat, mountain lion, any of those bison, elk, moose, any of those large predatory animals, you run, they're going to know that you're prey, and they're going to come at you.
Oh, like I was saying before, I have my bachelor's in zoology working on the master's, and it's funny that they really get into the intricacies of each animal and what they can actually do. Two really interesting things. I don't want to bore your audience, but it bears, knowing this knowledge. A mountain lion can jump 14 feet. from a still, being still, it can crouch down and jump 14 feet. 14 feet. I mean, seriously now. That is freaking big.
That's on somebody's roof.
Yeah.
Pretty much,
So when people are out there and like that guy, there was two guys. There was a jogger and then there was a bicycle rider that were confronted by a mountain lion. This is, God, it must have been about 6 months ago. They put it on Facebook and on YouTube.
I remember the video, with the jogger.
Yeah. Two lucky people. Two very lucky people.
He was swatting at him and coming right up on him and bluff charging him. I think he must have gotten close to one of the babies because,
I'm trying to adjust this here. That guy. Anyway, mountain lion, 14-foot standing jump, and a grizzly bear. We're talking a grizzly bear now. Now, I've read all the research on this. You know that it could get up to 50 miles an hour within 4 seconds?
What's that now? A grizzly bear?
We're talking about a grizzly bear.
They can do 50.
Anybody could look that up. And if you look up I think they might have it on YouTube. It shows a grizzly bear going after a deer. I guess it's for short spurts, but damn, something that big coming at you at 50. Can you imagine you're being charged by a grizzly bear? It's coming at you about 50 miles an hour.
That's a blur.
Say it's 100 feet away from you. You're standing there and you're trying to fire on it. Well, you better get this bear spray out and you better fire at it. Now, people, you can look this up. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. And definitely look at the YouTube video on it. And you can just look it up in zoology pages. It'll show you how fast these things are. It's just amazing how regular animals are. So you can imagine what, we're talking to Sasquatch, power one of them has. I
had a quick question for you if you had a second. I know you do research on Dogman and what states, what recently states have had like the most amount of sightings, like where you're getting spikes right now? Is it all of them, or what would you say the top states right now where your spikes are coming from? Because that's probably what everybody wants to know, and we'll make sure they're safe, what state they're at. Because I know I live in North Carolina, and I know they're out here, but I don't think they're near my area. But I know they're. I've had a witness on a couple months ago with Carlito, and he's actually seen one not too far from me in the Charlotte area, but it was on the interstate.
Right.
Truck driver.
Okay, what I wanted to say was the months of April and May were crazy for me. Tom, in the past 2 years, I generally get about 8 to 10 calls a week, telephone calls, because people will Facebook message me and they'll want to talk on the phone about their story, their encounters. Lately, it's been up to 45 calls a week. It gets to a point where I can't take every call. I'll have to space them out within a daytime and say, listen, I'll call you back. Some people will not take no because it has to be immediately. To answer your question, because I'm not going to dodge anything.
No.
The state of Arkansas and Missouri. Okay, that's 2 states. New York State, up where the Adirondacks, and also
that's Al Santorica's territory. Okay.
Yeah, and also down in Highland, New York, and in northwest, the highest northwest New Jersey.
What part would that be considered? Not Lebanon. Northwest is that Watauga? Not Watauga. Oh God. Lake Hopatcong area. Are you talking about that? I don't want to give you the area because we have a team up there right now. Right as we speak, we have a team. Well, I just know I did a lot of work in that part of Lake Hopatcong and Stanhope and Lake Hopatcong and Sparta, New Jersey, and that area is just so desolate, forested, and just it's just wide open. You got train tracks that go forever, aqueducts, and just it's squatchy. It's God's country, but it's also perfect habitat for the Dogman and whatever other cryptids roam out there.
Well, what I will tell you is this: it's right near the New Jersey-New York border.
Okay.
That's how far up it is, but it's the furthest northwest. We have a team investigating something up there. Back in late April, early May, we had this lady from, I'll tell you the area, Highland, New York. Mm-hmm. She called up and she got a hold of Jody Cook from the North American Dogman Project. Right. He's the founder. and she was bending his ear that she's being attacked by dogmen in that area. They're tearing stuff up. What it turns out is Jody called me up one night and he goes, look, you got to get in touch with this lady. I did get in touch with her. She sent me pictures. And she just kept calling and calling. She goes, they're out there now. You got to get up here. She called Jody. Jody called me up one night and says, look, can you get a team up there? We had 3 teams of 7 throughout the country. One in Arkansas, one in North Carolina.
Don't say where. I don't want to know where, but you could tell me anyway.
Northeast North Carolina.
Okay.
They went over the border going eastern in search of. We had one down in Louisiana. It went from Florida all the way over 2 states and into Louisiana. But anyway, getting back to what I was telling you, in Highland, New York, this lady has a very, very nice house with a backyard, 150 feet by 150 feet. It's a square. It's beautifully manicured and mowed. But in back of her is all forest. To the left is about 200 feet of forest. To the right is 200 feet of forest. She's right off a main road. Her front yard is about 70 feet off a main road. There was a red barn to the southeast corner off of her property. And the reason why I mentioned this red barn is because Jody Cook called and he says, you got to get somebody there tonight. So I went against our 7-man team rule. I got 2 guys that were still around. We went down to her house. It's about 1:15 in the morning now. It's pitch dark. Now, mind you, we had the half helmets on with the lights. Right, we had handheld lights. We had other protective measures with us. We were checking the area out. We also brought coffee cans. You know the metal coffee cans chock full of nuts?
Yeah.
Full of red cayenne pepper. We looked near her house, and her father had built for her a garbage area that was wooded in on 3 sides. It was against the house. The top had a chain link fence across the top so that raccoons couldn't get into her garbage cans. Right. Well, at least that's what she thought was happening. That whole thing was torn. Mind you, 4x4s. He had 4x4s in the ground. That whole thing was torn apart and thrown away when we got there anyway, because she heard all kinds of crazy noise and banging on her walls. We went to the forest furthest end of her backyard, and we were searching with the spotlights. We also had the FLIR thermals, because we didn't really want to get anything coming up on us because there's only 3 of us.
Right.
We had the thermals, we had infrared, and every 20 feet we would stop and we would break out the infrared and thermals and we would look around. Then we would continue on with regular light. Another 20 feet, stop, look around. At one point, we heard something sailing through the trees, and it landed right near us. We did not see what it was until later on when I actually shined some light on it. It landed right in front of one of our team members. He is not a fumble bug by any means. His toe hit this log that came at us. This log was about a good 6 to 8 feet long. I didn't get a chance to measure it. I was just eyeballing it. But it was about a good 10 inches around. It came flying at us. Now, mind you, it did not fall down from a tree because I looked up to see if there was anything up. Because the big thing is, which I teach everybody, whether they be paramilitary, police, or regular person who's going out in the woods, is look up. Always look up. I don't care if you're going to the mall, if you're going outside, if you got buildings. You could have somebody who's a sniper in this day and age who decides to go nuts and goes up in a building and starts shooting down on people. And I don't want that to ever happen.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, yes, sir. I was just thinking that. I didn't want to say it, but yeah. I mean, even when I'm in a mall, with a 3-tier mall, and usually the inner circle of the mall is you could just stand on the banister and not stand near the banisters and look down to the other levels. I don't know if you have malls like that, but in New Jersey we have malls like that. You can look right down into the other level. I can't imagine if somebody decides to do something stupid, and I hope to God that never happens. I mean, I'm not throwing ideas out there for bad guys because it's been out there already. You know, people have mentioned this too much, but what I tell everybody is to look up. So anyway, we're there that night. We looked up. Now, one of my teammates, he stubbed his foot. He tripped over that log. He went down and he twisted his knee. This guy's former tier 1. He is not a stumblebug. He knows how to walk in the dark. And we did have the area lit up. He just didn't see that thing right near him. He went down. So we immediately took up a defensive perimeter. We took out the FLIRs, looking around to see if anything was near us. You have a limited, range and scope on these things.
Right.
And while my other partner over there was keeping up a defensive perimeter, I splinted his leg. Really, really good, because that's another thing I should have mentioned. We always carry large first aid kits with us. There's a really good place to get them from. I don't get anything from this guy. You can call him and ask him. He's a former, I guess he's a PJ from the Air Force. It's called Dark Angel Medical. Mm-hmm. Excellent kits. Excellent kits. I mean, it's worth your life. If you ever get maybe some kind of a piece of wood that goes through you while you're out in the forest, say you fell down and a large twig goes and rips through you or something, or you fall down into a gully or something and you rip up your leg. These kits have everything in them. So it's Dark Angel Tactical or Dark Angel Medical.
It's not your basic, CVS, Walgreens,
no.
or cheap Band-Aid, gauze, splinter puller first aid kit is what you're saying.
That's the thing you don't want. Yeah. You really don't want that out there because, you don't need Band-Aids out there, really. You need the big hitting stuff, the stuff to stop a bleed. I mean, say a hunter
you need that blood clot powder, that brown, nasty powder. Yeah.
And the Israeli bandage, something to mention real quick. An Israeli bandage, what it is, people don't know what it is. It's a bandage that wraps around several times, but it's a thick bandage, and in the middle, it's popped up so that you could put that popped up portion on the hole. You could keep that hole covered so you stop, you don't bleed out. Right. Now, if you were out there and a hunter shot at a deer and misses the deer, and by some chance, God forbid, it hits you, goes through you and goes out the other end, you might have a sucking chest wound if it hits the lung area. So you're going to need the stuff that's in there. But once again, just like the bear spray, you got to learn how to use it, people. Don't think you're a hotshot because you've got all this equipment. Doesn't mean squat. Mm-hmm. You need to know how to use it. And the same thing with a medical kit. Learn how to use it. It'll take you an hour to learn how to use everything. It's worth your life. Yeah. And just to quickly mention, you get bit by a snake. If it's a poisonous snake, you really need to put a splint on that body part, and you need to get that person, or if you're alone, you need to get yourself out of there somehow. Hopefully you have some sort of a way to contact somebody that's in the outer world. Hopefully you have something besides a cell phone so that you can get out of there. I wouldn't go into the woods alone. I mean, with all the training and background I have, in all honesty, I wouldn't want to go in alone because say I fall down and I hurt something. What am I going to do, crawl out of the woods? I'm going to crawl 5 miles out of the woods? Something I didn't mention, just to see if I have it here. Okay. Yeah, I have a pair here. I have them all over the place. Gloves. All right, guys, gloves. Mechanics wear. Once again, I'm just throwing out because I believe they make the better pair of gloves. It's cheap. The back of these gloves is rubberized. Oops, here we go. And
good grips on those finger grips. They have good traction.
They make different types. Now, what I generally do, I didn't do it with this pair here because it's for my downstairs go bag. I generally just cut the finger off right here, right in the middle digit on the glove. And what I'll do is I'll put a piece of Velcro here so that if I want to put it back in the wintertime, I can just Velcro it back on for my trigger finger. Yeah. You don't need anything else but this here, from here in, to get the feel on your trigger. Gloves is another thing. A compass is another thing you should have there in the woods. Take a bearing where you start and take a bearing where you're at, and you can always come back. You know, if you know how to use that compass, it's really simple to learn, very simple. And like I said, is it really worth your life not to do something like that?
No,
You know,
and I think this is a really good. I was focusing on like Dogman questions, but what we're getting at, I think we're kind of doing like a safety precautionary thing on what to take out when you're doing expeditions and investigations is really good because not everybody knows what you're supposed to have, safety equipment and protection. Like what you're giving is great information for like your basic. Like for me, I'm just a novice investigator. I'm not trying to claim to be any kind of professional. I just do regular boots on the ground investigations. And for you giving us the great knowledge of like what to, since your background with military and law enforcement, you have the skills, what equipment is needed for safety and defense. Like say you live in a state where you can't get guns. Well, you just brought out bear spray and you showed the flashbang electronics. You have the whistle. I mean, the ultra high bright flashlight, laser. So if you live in a state where you can't get a gun, you got all these other options.
There's a lot more that you can take out there. I mean, we don't have the time, for your show here because I want to get at what you want to talk about. But there is just so much you really need before you actually go out there. I mean, you might be having a great day out there in a forest in the woods, and suddenly you just went 3.5 miles. Say you went off the beaten track. I mean, a lot of people have done this. They've gone off the regular trails, and now they're lost. And maybe they started out, 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock, and suddenly it's 6 o'clock, and it's starting to get dark. I mean, not now in the summer months, but in the winter months or, going towards fall, and it starts to get dark. I mean, the first thing people got to understand is you don't need food, you don't need water. What you need is shelter. That's number one. Without shelter, forget about it. If it starts raining and it gets cold and windy and nasty, you're really going to get affected by the weather. So, more so than, food and water, you need to be able to erect some shelter. Now, either bring it with you so you could you really should learn how to do these things. People, it's like, I was thinking I should start up some kind of a company and do a field investigation prep course for people and teach them how to make a lean-to in the least.
Yeah,
but in the least, people should
survivalist out in the woods. How to live in the woods for 30 days if the world goes to crap.
Oh, that's another thing. I mean, part of my background, I've been doing this for years and years now. I mean, I have go bags. I have go bags in my car. I have the end of the world, the zombie apocalypse go bag down here. It's got so much in it. It's not funny, but I want to be able to last, just in case something happens. But
I have a question for you. You see it?
Oh yeah. Certain people in the higher ups don't want me to say anything, but let me put it this way: it's going to be late July, early August. We're going to try to do a 3 or 4 state tour. We're going to hit Missouri because there's been a lot of Dogman activity in Missouri. We're going to go over to Tennessee, LBL. That's the land between the lakes. We're not going into Kentucky, LBL, because we want to go to Tennessee where that event happened. That we don't want to go into too much. Then I want to turn around and come up and go to West Virginia because Dogman's number one for me, but I really love the Mothman. I've done a lot of research on the Mothman, and last time I was down there, I proved to my satisfaction what it is. But I mean, he's just so fascinating because he's seen all over the place. The Mothman has been seen before the World Trade Center was hit by the terrorists. Mothman has been seen near Chernobyl. It's
Chicago.
In Chicago, big time.
And I've also heard that a lot of people but there's a lot of theorists and theories depicting the fact that because, that there's a lot of people are say that the original Large Hadron Collider, which CERN has in Switzerland, was actually done in Chicago in the mid to late 90s. And after that happened, that's when all these sightings of these Mothman came about in Chicago. So that's just it's a big contemplation thing of theories and observations. But who's to say that it could just be the Mothman as well? It could maybe something other than something from a portal.
Well, they call the Mothman the harbinger of doom. Like in Japan before their nuclear power plant went, before the one in Chernobyl went. I mean, these were people saw this. An American in Japan actually saw a Mothman-like figure before their nuclear power plant went. So I mean, he's all over the place predicting stuff. I don't think he's doing bad things. He's just predicting it. And
Right.
before I think it was, what was it, 1967, before the bridge went down in Point Pleasant,
Right.
West Virginia, I mean, he was hanging around there. But when I went to, just real quick.
Nike missile plant?
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. But when I went to West Virginia, I went to their TNT plant, the abandoned plant, and I was checking the area out. And there's two things that they had there. They had these owls that were, oh God, I'd say 2.5 feet tall, and their eye shine was red. Big eye shine, just like the Mothman is supposed to have. But these little guys are only 2.5 feet tall. A wingspan, perhaps both wings together, perhaps 4 feet. And they congregate. There's many of them over there. So I kind of discounted the owl theory. What I did find was, and people don't get mad at me now, because like I said, I'm here to prove or disprove. And, I want to prove to people, what exists and what does not exist. And I love the Mothman, but I found Sandhill Crane. It's called a Sandhill Crane. They can get up to 6 feet tall around the eyes, 4 inches around the eyes. It's all red skin on both eyes. Now you shine a light or some kind of a light shines off that. It looks like they got red glowing eyes.
Absolutely.
And these things can get up to 6 feet tall, Tom. So, I mean, the wingspan is huge. And at nighttime, somebody's going to take this for a Mothman. And personally, that's what I think that is. So the Chupacabra, I think, is a hybrid. Mothman, I just believe is a Sandhill Crane.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is Jersey Devil. I mean, I know you said you've mentioned seeing it, but the original story is Mother Leeds, 1735. Pine Barrens, New Jersey. She had 12 kids. Some say she was a witch. Some say whatever. But she found out she was pregnant. 13th child. She cursed it. Let this child be a devil. The handmaid that was there helping, once the baby came out, everyone said, it had wings, had, horse's head, hoof feet. Demon child.
There's a second story there, though. That was Mrs. Leeds. Now there's another lady. Her name escapes me right now. I do have it in my books where I write notes down. But she lived in Leedsville, New Jersey. Yes. Right across the river. And there's a story about her having many children, and one of them turned into the Jersey Devil. Now, I've been researching the Jersey Devil, boots on the ground, not just regular research. I went through to the old libraries, the old bookstores down in the Pine Barrens, to the reading newspaper on microfiche, all the reports going way back in the 1800s, early 1900s. Do you realize the Jersey Devil was seen also in Pennsylvania when it crossed the border? And it all over the place. Now, I hate to break it to the people, but a gentleman came up to myself and some of my team members when we were trampling around through the Pine Barrens over there. And he said, "What are you boys doing?" And we told him. He goes, "How much do you think I'd be able to get from the Smithsonian if I showed them the body of the Jersey Devil?" Now, this guy was in it just to make the money. He wasn't going to ask me for any money because he knew we were out there. I said, "You're serious?" I said, "You actually have the body of the Jersey Devil?" I said, "What does it look like?" He described it, and I'm going to tell everybody what we found it to be. He showed me pictures of it on his phone, and I said, "My God, can we take a look at this thing?" And he's looking at us there, saying, probably thinking to himself, can he trust us to take us back to his home? He eventually, we did convince him to do it. We went back to his home. He had a couple of barns in his backyard. A guy owned a lot of acreage over there. Now, mind you, I've been trampling through the Pine Barrens for almost 6 years. And this guy shows us a body, a dead body,
Wow.
and it's about 3.5 feet. If you would have stood it up, 3.5 feet in length. Tom, I'm going to kill all the suspense. It's a horse bat. Some people call it a cow bat. It's a horse bat. If you look at the spindly legs on the picture that people show the Jersey Devil to be, and his big face and everything else, this is a real live thing. It's a horse bat. Now, I put out a picture. I mean, I'm going to do it probably tomorrow because I'm on the show with you now. But in the other site that I run, the Coalition.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Your coalition, the Quad Science.
Yeah, the Quad
Coalition.
Quad Coalition of Science, where I'm trying to bring together all the different sciences that are competing with each other with their egos and everything. On there, I put a picture of a bat, a very large bat, and this bat was probably close to 4 feet long.
I think I've seen that picture. I think it was posted the other day. It looked about 4 foot tall, and it was just a huge looking bat. That was just like a large fruit bat almost, but bigger.
Right. Now, the bat that is down in New Jersey Pine Barrens is called a horse bat or a cow bat. People could look this up. Like I said, I'm out here to tell you the truth.
Are native to New Jersey? That's the next question.
All right. Remember, what else has been found running around in New Jersey? Tigers. Are they native to New Jersey?
Well, there's a lot of people, because I know my sister has. She used to live in Jackson, New Jersey, and she was probably about 5 minutes from Six Flags Great Adventure. Well, guess what? The street down the road from her street was a lady that was called the Tiger Lady.
Tiger Lady, right.
And I think it was in the mid-'90s, the Tiger Lady's tigers escaped, and they had everybody, the Jackson police were making everybody stay in their house and don't leave your house because there was a statewide manhunt or a town-wide manhunt of Jackson to round up these tigers. And I think they had to shoot them all down with a tranquilizer, or I think they had to get the National Guard involved to get some of them put down as well.
Oh, yeah.
They got loose.
Two things, though, real quick. Number one, they still haven't found her husband. And number two, I want to mention that there have been strange animals that should never have been in an area like over across the pond, as they call it, in England. There are strange animals there. Why? Because people import these animals.
Right.
All right. Now, people collect animals. Now, way, way, way back when, in the 1800s, there was a British colonel that had imported animals to his palatial home, you might call it. And he had all kinds of things. He had alligators. I mean, I believe he had a small Indian elephant. And who's to say he didn't have a cow bat or two hanging around? And they multiply. Because as far as I'm concerned, there is no animal except for maybe a sea turtle that's, like that Jersey Devil that's going to last for, 200 years, 250 years now, something like that, when it was first reported. I mean, that's kind of old for an animal to be hanging around.
Absolutely.
So anyway, if people want to look it up and look up what a real cow bat looks like or a horse bat, I mean, there's other names for it. This one in particular was about 3.5 feet from the legs all the way up. And, I told the guy, I says, it's very easy for you to contact the Smithsonian, to see if they want to buy this from you. But I got a lot of nasty notes when I put it out there on a couple of different talk shows, and I put it on my other site about the cow bat. The Jersey Devil.
A lot of people have that, some people are fixated on certain of these cryptids that they're got to be what they are, and there's nothing else that can be. But when you prove the facts with science and evidence, and as in your case, you actually seen the bodies of these things, you know what they actually are. So it's going to take a body to prove a lot of these things. And I don't want to be the guy to say that, maybe that has to be done, but I'm not going to be going forth to action to make that happen. But I'm sure somebody will, and I'm sure the government has several of them in captivity or already has some bodies. They're not going to let us know about it.
Well, I was on a talk show about 3.5 weeks ago with a couple other, I guess you would call them Bigfoot experts. And I was asked a question: when do I think the government's going to come out and finally fess up to this stuff and let us see it. I said 3 years. I really believe within the next 3 years, because they're coming out with what the UFOs are, and they're trying to be kind of sketchy about it, saying, well, identified flying object. We couldn't identify what it was, but they're not saying that, yeah, we have one. And it's going to come out in the next 3 years or so, that something's going on.
Well, between that and the human chimera, project that they're trying to do for, health, for trying to save people with growing lungs in a pig and all this and that. I mean, they have to make these things in the lab, and they're mixing DNA with certain, even probably several animals to mix it with humans. So it's almost like the island of Dr. Moreau.
I just think they should stop that. I'm against that. I think they can do it otherwise. They've come out with stem cell treatment. I tore my right shoulder and right bicep and the back of my shoulder a couple years back, working out with the weights. My spotter just screwed up and it went down on me the wrong way.
Was he doing one of them things where he was like, "Oh, look at that one working out. Well, she looks pretty good." And he was focusing on a skirt, and tights instead of you.
No, there was no skirt there. It was pretty hot, from what I understand. But yeah, probably that's what happened, because tore my shoulder up. Man. What I'm trying to get at is I had stem cell treatment,
right?
And I had to have 2 because they missed some of the spots. But Tom, I couldn't lay on my back and push a 25-pound dumbbells. Oh,
wow.
That's how bad it hurt. I couldn't curl with 10 pounds. I could not do this with my right hand, which I'm doing now. All right. They injected it in here to stem cell treatment. And I'm going to tell you, within 4 months, back to normal. I'm doing presses. Well, I put it on my personal page because I was bragging about it to my friends. I want them to get it done for their ails. I had 2 85-pound dumbbells, and I'm doing presses with them.
Nice.
I'm not using a bar because I'm working out in my garage. It's a home gym, really nice little.
Well, I work out. If you can see behind me, I work out.
I see that.
I'm in my gym / studio, so I do the beach body. I bought a system from Academy Sports pre-COVID when it was on clearance, and I have a set of what the hell are they? I got the speed weight dumbbells, where you can adjust the pound by slipping the slide lever over. And I just 3 to 4 days a week, I just try to stay in shape and be healthy, because you never know if you got to wrestle one of these things down.
That's why I pointed out my little buddy over here, my Zero Dark 30 knife. I specifically had it. It's custom made for me, and like I said, I'm not going to back down. But yeah, I work out in there. I use I generally use free weights. I got about 2,000 pounds in free weights. I got a squat rack. I got a landmine that I can put the Olympic bars in and everything. Nice. I generally work out alone, so I don't do barbell presses anymore. I just use the dumbbells, and I just got to add. I add 12.5-pound plates to each side. And it's very hard to get weights during the COVID time. You're right.
Oh, yeah, they were gouging the hell out of them. I mean, I was watching Marketplace, Facebook, and they were, that's usually like $1.50 a pound, and the people are selling a set of 20-pound dumbbells for $100. I'm like, you got to be crack.
I had some 50-pound standard plates, right, and some 25-pound standard plates, and I put them on Craigslist. And 10 minutes later, I had 7 people want them. Oh, wow. And I went right down the list. The first guy that came, he tried, I didn't try to beat anybody for it. I just wanted what I paid for it because I can't use the standard plates. I have Olympic plates. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Oh, geez, can you give me a better price?" I said, "Bro, I got 6 people behind you and maybe 10 more after that." I said,
"Yeah, they're going to go. They're going to go no matter what."
I'm asking 50 cents a pound, that's under the market. And so he bought them. And then I had some equipment that I had purchased from the Wonder Bar in Bloomfield, New Jersey. I don't know if you know where that is, but they're an old style.
I know Bloomfield.
Yeah, well, this Wonder Bar, old-fashioned place, but they made real iron steel equipment, right? Mm-hmm. and I couldn't use some of this stuff. So I was going to throw it out. I says, hey, if you want it, you can take it. He got free equipment. He got about $800 worth of free equipment. He just put it in the back of his truck just to buy those plates. But yeah, boy, they were gouging like crazy. But I'm lucky that I have my free weights, and I have to stay in shape because I got guys that are under me that I command.
Yeah,
that are like in their late 20s.
Well, they say as you age in life, the more you take care of yourself, the better health you're going to have, and you're going to be able to still like have your vitality and move on through more years to go ahead. I mean, they say you just keep it in shape is probably one of the best things. I mean, look at Jack LaLanne and Joe Weider, you know.
Oh, look at
they're 80 years old, still doing crazy shit.
Yeah, Jack LaLanne was what, 92, 93 before he passed.
Yeah.
So he was doing great stuff. He was towing boats, you know, as a swim every birthday and all that stuff. But I mean, I'll do 3 days a week, 3-mile rucks with a backpack with 65 pounds in it, you know, just to make it a little bit harder.
Yeah, I like the hit exercises, and I like doing the tempo because tempo is you're adjusting your muscle tension to time it, and instead of just doing like I've always been like just throwing weights around, but when you do tempo, you're timing yourself and you're stretching that muscle for 3 to 6 seconds, and then you're giving it back more resistance 3 to 6 seconds, and that works the hell out of you, man. I mean, you know, that's some serious. I mean, you don't even need heavy weights for it because of the tension and the negative on that and the positives on it. I mean, it's insane.
Well, because of the fact that what I do, you know, otherwise than cryptozoology and everything, we're out there with about a good 80 pounds worth of equipment on.
Exactly.
What I do is I superset things. I'll superset like deadlifts, 5 sets of deadlifts. As soon as I'm finished with one set of deadlifts, I go on my bench, get the 85-pound dumbbells. I'll do reps of 12, take a little bit of rest, do another set, you know, heavier deadlift, keep working up, and until I got my 5 sets, supersets, because I'm trying not to waste time. Yeah. Plus, it makes you a little winded. And then like power cleans is another good thing. I'll superset power cleans with pull-ups, because pull-ups are an everyday thing. You got to be able to pull yourself up a tree or over a wall or something.
Exactly. You got to pull yourself above a wall or jump over a branch or whatever. A fence.
I don't do the pretty boy exercises. What I do is functional exercises that are going to give me the strength. Because if I'm out there in the field, whether in the job that I do or doing field investigation, and boy, that's a story for another day too. Once you find a slash mark on a tree, possibly from a Dogman, and I'll tell you how you can find out the difference between a Dogman slash and a bear slash. And once you find a footprint in the ground, what do you do from there? That's like you got to treat it as a crime scene. You know, you got to make sure that you have certain items in your backpack so that you don't pollute the scene. You know, I mean, I've brought people out into the forest area, you know, with my team, and they'll trample look at a footprint, and they'll trample all over it. We got to set up a perimeter right away. Here we go. We got this. First thing you do is you set that perimeter up with the tape. Caution tape. It's yellow and black caution tape. You just put it around the entire area where you have the footprint, claw mark, or whatever, your evidence, and then you work from there. The second thing you do after you have the scene is you take your camera, you take a picture from above, hang on a second. Something came up on my screen. North, south, east, and west. And something keeps coming up on my screen, and I don't know why. I hope I'm not interfering with the show, Tom.
No, you're good. You're good.
But anyway, you take a picture from above, and then from north, south, east, and west on the side. Then what you do is you start above again from the angles, north, south, east, and west on the sides. And then you can get down to the nitty-gritty and get in close. You got to make sure to put an item next to the print. We generally bring rulers with us. You know, so if you have a couple of rulers that are 12 inches, you know, the wooden rulers don't weigh very much. Well, this is a plastic one, but you get the idea. It's a ruler.
They even make those small measures. I mean, they go up to like 8 feet, and they're super thin, and they're like, you know, 1 inch by 1 inch. It's almost like like a haberdashery measure tape string tape. So
what we bring is the old-fashioned school wooden rulers. Like they got a metal thing that goes across the top. If you got two of those, you put one ruler here and one going this way, one going that way, and you can see how wide it is and how long it is. But remember, people, the depth.
Yeah.
You want to know the depth. Why? I'm going to tell you why. You can calculate the weight of the creature.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so a 195-pound man will put approximately a quarter-inch dent into the ground if he's walking on soft dirt. All right, and the next thing you want to also look at is a stride length. Now, we were talking to this one big-time Bigfoot investigator. He's been investigating Bigfoot for about 45 years, and he was in Alaska, and he found one that was about 2 inches deep, and the stride was, I believe, I actually forgot what he says. It was either 13 or 16 feet, and that led me to believe that this Bigfoot Sasquatch was actually moving at a better than a walk, and the footprint was 25 inches long. So he's estimating that he had a 15-footer there, and he qualified for me that we had a 15-footer in Highland, New York when we went there before one of my guys was injured. So I was saying to him, that's impossible. And yes, Marquette, it's phenomenal that something exists that big. And I'm telling you, I could take up another show, Tom, talking about why we don't see them all day long. I just want to mention to everybody, and I'm just trying to bring out information. Like I said, the reason I did the Quad Coalition of Sciences is to throw the ego out the door. People, you got to lose your egos. Give information out so we can find out what these things are. I'm going to give you the information on that. And, oh God, I forgot my train of thought. I've got so much to give out, Tom.
That's okay.
He qualified for me that 15-footer. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. The reason you don't see them every day is because these things hunt at nighttime, right? And they're sleeping during the daytime. They're sleeping in caves. When they are out during the late night, just before it turns dark, or early morning, just before the light comes out, they will stay on the ridge lines. And they also have a way of cloaking, which is, oh my God, Tom, it's another thing. I had just finished doing a 386 encounter report on Bigfoot and Dogman, and now it's up to 410 people that I either spoke to on the phone in person or had their written account. And I found out that either before or after they saw a white orb in the sky, or it was both before and after. So either before they had the encounter, after the encounter, the white orb, or the white orb was there at both times, before and after the encounter. And what I'm trying to correlate this with is the UFOs, aliens. Now I'm trying to think outside the boxes, which is what I want everybody to think. Just because you're into cryptozoology doesn't mean you're mad at the people that are doing UFOlogy, or the paranormal people. Or
that's why you did your Quad Coalition of Sciences, to bring everybody together, because there's too much freaking division in this community between all fields. I mean, it's ridiculous. If we all just work together, put our differences aside, we can get so much shit done.
Can you imagine the brain power?
We can accomplish. Like I said, we might be able to get disclosure out sooner than 3 years of all the cryptids.
That's what that's what I was saying. I was on 2 other talk shows last month, and I brought it out because I was so frustrated. These people are fighting over everything. This section is fighting this section. And I said, somebody ought to just do it. And I'm a person that talks the talk. I'll walk the walk. I'm going to do it. So the very next day, I created the Quad Coalition of Sciences.
And that's a group, right? That's an actual Facebook group, isn't it?
That's an actual Facebook group. And we publish everything. I mean, I was just doing cryptozoology studies, and I was mainly doing Dogman studies. And now My reading list was backed up 27 books. Now it's backed up something like 60 books because I had to get other books in. I'm looking at articles all over the place. I mean, just UFOs alone will really knock you over, all the stuff that's out there on it. And I'm trying to, upgrade my knowledge. But I just want everybody to work together. And you know why they don't want to work together? Because the zoologists don't want the cryptozoologists to get their funding, because companies will give them funding to go places to discover new animals, new fish, new fauna, new everything. New insects are discovered every day. I mean, they've got a bug that's about 4 inches big. Mm-hmm. It's a stick bug. It's a stick bug. It looks like a stick. It looks like twigs put together. You walk by it in the forest, you wouldn't know what it was.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
There's a reason we don't see these things, because in their natural habitat, they know how to hide. They know where to hide. They know they could go still and you won't see them, and they blend in because their color just blends in. And it's the same thing with the cryptids. Now, cryptids are called cryptids because we haven't discovered them yet. Now, mind you, my theory at this point, because Sasquatch, or Bigfoot, if you want to call it that, and Dogman, I'm kind of equating these orbs of light in the sky with UFOs, and who knows, maybe they're aliens, or maybe they are being put down here. I don't want to be funny or anything by it, but maybe the alien said, okay, Dogman, go down there and run around a little bit, get your energy off and go pee and poop or whatever you want to do, and we'll zip you back up here later on. I don't know, but that's the reason. That's the reason why I'm trying to get with other groups and try to prove, pool our knowledge and try to prove it, Tom.
Yeah, try to have a huge sit down of the thinking of the minds, and everybody put their ideas together and try to figure out what how everything kind of, because everything's in one way or another, everything's connected the way I see it. You got your paranormal, your cryptids, and your UFOs. Everything is somehow connected one way or another, whether it's the aliens with their DNA and they're responsible for making all this DNA genetic modification. They're the originators of it for the cryptids being here. I mean, it's all possible. I don't know if that's the actual fact, but it's one of my thoughts on how they got here, how they've been here for so long, because they've been created so long ago.
Well, one thing my research has shown, I'll throw it out there for people. I don't know about the other cryptids, but Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and Dogman do not want to play nice. So they're generally not in the same area as each other. And I think Sasquatch deals with us differently than Dogman will. There are certain Sasquatch that will rip your head off and eat your face.
Chinaskwa, Gogwe.
Yeah. And there are certain Sasquatch that are more protective. They're understanding. There's just different variants of Dogman and different variants of Sasquatch. To me, I believe Sasquatch uses mind speak, and I believe they use infrasound. Mm-hmm. Now, to those of you that do not know what infrasound is, it's a piercing type of sound that could chill you and freeze you right in your place. It could cause you to lose time. Now, there are people that I've interviewed on the phone, in person, and I've read their reports when they've sent them to me, because a lot of people, just to skip to the side for a second, a lot of people don't want to tell you what happened to them. A lot of people do not want to, because they could be looked upon as Looney Tunes. They could lose their job because of it. They could be in a political position. They could be attorneys or doctors. They don't want to lose their standing in the community and lose their livelihood.
Or they don't want to face the fact that something scared the shit out of them, made them piss their pants, and made them soil their pants, and they don't want to talk about it, because every time they think about it, their nerves might have that muscle memory, and they might wet themselves again just thinking about it.
Exactly. And I've spoken to these people. I've tried to. I've turned around from being a field investigator to part of the time I'm talking to people, trying to help them, psychologically help them understand and come to grips with what could possibly be out there, and come to grips with their encounter. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to help people also at the same time. If they want to talk, I'll talk to them about it. But getting back to like Sasquatch, they'll use that mind speak to freeze you. I mean, say you saw something that they didn't want you to see. They'll use the mind speak to make you lose some periods of time. And there have been people out there, and yes, he's right. People have been ridiculed, especially in this day and age, 2020, 21. You know, people are not, you know, they're ridiculing people for seeing something. You're like, oh yeah, you're full of it. I'm sorry. I had an encounter. And to answer your question from an hour ago, the reason I got into Dogman is because I had an encounter and I saw a Dogman. And I know what I saw. You don't have to believe what I'm saying, but I know what I saw. And I really don't care what anybody else thinks. I know what I saw, and it wasn't a bear. But not to get off the subject.
Oh, no. I know what you mean, though, because, like I said, when I had my encounter, my first in 1998 in Canada, we didn't say nothing to the hunting guides because we were worried that they'd run us off the damn hunting lodge and call us crazy and loonies and say, you know, get out of here. We're not giving you a refund. Don't ever come back here and don't ever say nothing because we don't want to lose business. So we just kept our mouths shut the whole time and just la-di-da, nothing happened.
You're absolutely right. They would have run you off because they don't want you talking to the other people because COA and all these other places want people to come there and camp. They're making money. Mm-hmm. They're making money. You know, Tom, look, just from 95 to 2005, there was 3,000 reports in the western United States of Sasquatch, Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. There were 650 reports in Canada during that same 10-year time span. And those are just the people that came forward. Is everybody lying? Is everybody not telling the truth?
No one's lying.
You know, I'm sorry. And that's just in that area of Washington State, Colorado, and, well, there's parts of Nevada and other parts up there, but those are the two. Oh, California, Washington State, Colorado. The big three where the Sasquatch. I'm sorry. Everybody can't be lying. Now, you might have your BSers, your charlatans out there, but, you know, what are you making off it? You're not making anything. You're 10 seconds of fame? So what? Mm-hmm. But to get back to what I was saying before, the mind speak and the infrasound. Infrasound, your audience can experience it for themselves, believe it or not.
Go to the zoo. Go to the zoo.
Tiger. Where the tigers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get close enough to that tiger cage and have that tiger feel you're threatening, and the roar it lets out from the inner portion of its body, you will feel it right to your core. Absolutely to your core. It's meant to scare you. It is meant to scare you. And when a Sasquatch uses this, when a Dogman uses this, forget about it. That's the end of the end. But Sasquatch uses it to scare you off or to blank your mind. They will also have mind speak. And people have encountered Sasquatch where they're telling him, don't come any further.
Yeah, get out of
here. Yeah, get out of here. Put that phone down and you will not be harmed. Do not try to take a picture. Now, like I said, the infrasound part where you lose time and where they try to scare you off is because you saw something they don't want you to see.
We got a question for you. That's a good question, Al. Might not be the right question, but it's a good question.
Because I don't kiss and tell, I really can't get into it. I'm not trying to avoid your question, but no, I'll answer you directly, straight up. No alphabet soup agency has ever said anything to me. MIB, I just believe Men in Black. I believe, this is my belief now. Nobody else's probably, or some people might think. I believe it's the former, and they still might have this unit operating for the United States Air Force. You remember the Air Force is taken over way back when in the 40s and 50s, the UFO sightings and everything. Those are the go-to people. Yeah. But no, nobody's ever said anything to me. And, you know, I'm not putting, like I said, I've told people what I think a chupacabra is and a Jersey Devil is and what a Mothman is. You know, so I mean, it's like, seriously, people? No. But I personally had an encounter with a Dogman, and I've put it out. I held it. I held it for many, many years. Because when I first saw it, Tom, I thought it was a werewolf. I didn't know anything about a Dogman.
Yeah, because no one knew what Dogman was 20-something years ago.
Well, this was back in September 13th, 2013.
Okay.
and it was in New Jersey, the Watchung Reservation in New Jersey.
Where is that? Where is that near? Because I've heard of the name Watchung. Is there a place called Watchung Hills? Maybe.
Well, there's a place called Watchung Hills, but funny about that, it's not located in Watchung.
Okay.
It's located in Bedminster and Basking Ridge.
Yes, Bedminster. Okay.
The Watchung Reservation used to be a Lenape, Native American Lenape Indian reservation a long time ago. Mm-hmm. I mentioned this, I'm going to get to it in a little bit, why I mentioned that.
Okay.
What I had to do is off of Route 22, Mountainside, Westfield, and Watchung, New Jersey. It's up on the mountain, all the way up at the top of the mountain. People go there to have picnics. You can have events over there. They've got this big area that's about the size of, oh God, anywhere from 4 to 6 football fields cleared away. It's an oval right in the center. Right. And then all around, they have a big museum, huge museum over there that you can go to. They got trails. They've got a river that goes through there that you can go. You can go through the trails and everything in the back. And they do have snakes there, so people be careful if you do go through the trails. I've been going through that place with my parents ever since I was a kid. But that's where I had my encounter. And did you want me to go through that, Tom? I don't know if you have time or.
I think we got about 5 minutes left. If you want to go through, that's fine by me.
Or anything else you want to go through?
No, I'm good. I mean, we had some questions. We went over a lot of safety things, and we've talked about experiences with Dogman, Bigfoot, and we went over LBL. We started with the LBL, and we kind of left it alone because I said it's probably between everything that's going on with everything right now, it's probably best just to leave it alone because there's so much controversy over it. And I believe you gave Roger a fair shot, and it is what it is.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Tom. You and I, you seem super knowledgeable about cryptozoology, and you and I could probably talk for a good 24 hours straight if you wanted.
I think so. And plus, we're both Italian, so we could gack it on all day.
Oh yeah, we could talk on the subject and not hit the same subject twice. I'll bet.
Right.
But just to give your people what happened on September 13th, 2013, I was coming back from doing some training, some paramilitary training. And I was going up Route 22 West, and I decided that the place I lived at, I can get to 2 different ways. I could go the way of Route 22, where I could do 55 miles an hour, unless you hit red lights all the time, and hit 287 and go home. Or I can go up over the mountain and cut maybe 20 minutes off my time. Now, we had been out training for 16 hours straight. It was just that type of training. And I wanted to just get home. I decided to cut over the mountain, cut the 20 minutes out. It was 11:30 at night. I went up the mountain into the Watchung Reservation. And like I said, it's an oval. I would need to go around the oval part way so that I can come out the other side to hit Route 78 and get right home. Mm-hmm. I said, wow, this is great. I was driving my Jeep Wrangler, 2-door Jeep Wrangler. I had KC highlighters on it. I had about 500,000 candle power of light. They used to call it candle power back then.
Yeah, I know the bright ones. The yellow caps.
I had everything on, everything lit up because it's pitch dark up there. They don't have at the time they didn't have any lights.
I know those roads pretty good because my brother used to live off Route 22. So I used to travel 287 Stanhope and Route 22 to Somerset. So I know all those little back roads, and they are pretty dark. They're really dark.
So I mean, from the highway on Route 22, it's right across from I think it's the Mountainside First Aid Station. That's on the east side. I was on the west side. I made my right-hand turn, went up the road, got on the top. I'm going around the oval when I see something reflecting in my 500,000 candle power of light. And I'm like, what the heck is that? It's a reflector. It was on the back of a bicycle. You know, the old bicycles that had fenders?
Yeah.
And it had a reflector. And there's something dark and large near the bicycle. I'm coming around, and like I said, I'm lighting everything up with this thing. And I still had some more, excuse me, I still had some more lights to put on. But I decided, heck, I got enough. I might as well not run down my regulator here. So I'm coming up upon this thing, and I see it's a bicycle, and it's up against a stop sign. Mm-hmm. and I can see the stop sign, and I see this large black figure. To me, I'm thinking bicycle, human being. Mind you, it's 11:30 something at night.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the bicycle is up against the stop sign. I see this large black creature, and I see the hand, it's the right hand, come up like this towards the face area. And I'm thinking, God, could that be a kid? Could it be a human maybe? And because of the bicycle. Why is a bicycle there at this time of the night?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this bear ripped apart somebody. I stop about 30 feet away, and I hit the rest of my lights on, and I'm totally lighting this thing up. And what I saw, in my mind, I said werewolf. But it was too big to be a werewolf. In my day, a werewolf was about, 6 foot, 6'2". This thing was well over 7 feet tall because I judge it by what the stop sign was. Now, I wasn't thinking that at the time. I got out of the car with this in one hand, a Glock 10 millimeter in the other hand. I opened my door because I'm saying, my God, I got to help this human out because this thing picked its hand up and I seen it go right to the mouth. And I'm looking at this thing, and this thing looks to me. I'm thinking werewolf. I don't know Dogman at the time.
Right.
This is 2013. Be honest with you, it took over 3 years before I found out what a Dogman was.
Mm-hmm.
This thing did not even look at me. Dark hair, fang teeth, long claws, longer than my fingers.
How about the snout?
The snout was kind of long, almost wolfish.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see if I have a picture here to throw up for you. Oh, God, I probably brought it upstairs. Oh, no, I do have something.
Awesome.
It's a Canine Variant 3.
Okay.
This right here.
Yeah.
All right? That is what I saw. Dark hair, not fur. I'm not looking at this thing like, let me take in every little piece of knowledge I can. I'm like looking at this thing saying it's eating a human, and it wasn't. What it was eating was a young buck because I noticed that there was horns.
Right.
And I kind of
spike or something.
I kind of was relieved because this thing had it in its hand and it was coming up to its mouth. So to me, this thing is flesh and blood. Now, I'm standing there with bear spray in one hand, ready to rock with that because I was going to shoot that first. I'm 30 feet away. That's about the length that this thing will shoot. And then I was going to drop that can when it blew everything out and start firing if it was going to come at me.
Right.
This thing ignored me, Tom. It didn't even look at me. It did not look my way. It was facing the wooded area right where the stop sign was. And it wasn't a 10 or 20 second encounter. Mind you, I'm standing there, and it was a little bit closer to a minute and 10 seconds. It walked off into the wooded area. Didn't look at me. Now, what I did get, I didn't get infrasound, I didn't get mind speak, but I got the feeling that it considered me to be insignificant. Wow. I got that feeling. It just considered that I was insignificant.
Like you weren't important to it. Like it didn't matter that you were there. No. He didn't care.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's standing there, and I'm like, what the hell is this thing? Some kind of a different bear? It walked off, and then immediately I'm checking my six and around the area because I'm figuring this thing's going to come behind me.
Or there's another one flanking you somewhere,
Could be. And at that point, it walked off, and what I saw approximately 120 feet away, and I have these approximates because the next day I came back with a team of guys and we checked the area because I told the guys back where I work, I said, listen, I need a bunch of you guys to come with me, and I got a lot of volunteers. We checked it out, and I measured how far in the distance. I saw a white orb in the sky about 120 to 130 feet back into the forest area.
Right.
And if I can ever come on again, I'll get into the research that I did with, it took me 6 months to do research about the orbs and the Dogman and the Sasquatch. But the one that I saw, I'm looking around to see if this thing is going to try to flank me. And I said, enough's enough. I got to get out of here. I satisfied myself that it wasn't a human that it was ripping apart. the bicycle was chained to the stop sign post that happened to be at the end of the road. And I came back the next day and I took pictures of the area and everything.
That's how you were able to pick the height of the animal, right? The Dogman,
Yeah.
because you checked the stop sign and you figured where the head was like 7.5 feet or something like that, right?
It was close enough for me to be able to approximate. And we took a tape measure, put it up there, and 7 foot 7 inches. Now that's pretty big. Now, from my research, Dogman really doesn't go over 8 feet, if that. So, I mean, the movie's kind of prostituted quite a bit. They show these 8 to 9 feet Dogmen, and I'm sorry, they don't. Every research that I've ever done, any stories I've ever had, they've got a story about a ranch that was taken over by Dogmen and everything. They were approximating the size, and they were in the general area of 6'5" to 7'5". So, I mean, you know, it's like Sasquatch goes bigger, Dogman does not. But from that day on, I was researching, what the heck could this be? Could this possibly be some kind of hybrid bear?
Yeah.
Nothing I found in zoology showed a bear that looks like that. And it took me, like I said, till 2016 before I found out the word Dogman, and I started investigating that. And, you know, it took off from there. I got in touch with Jody Cook from the North American Dogman Project, and we had gotten together at several conferences and everything. He asked me to be the director of Region 3 Northeast, you know, and I run that, the Facebook page for them, and also started the International Dogman Project, which is based out of Finland, and also the Quad Coalition of Sciences. I mean, I'm pretty busy between work, my reading, my research, and I tell you, people, I want to tell you, when you're out there, don't just read the internet, please. Read books.
Yeah, books.
Go to libraries and look in their old newspapers, their microfiche. You will find stuff that you never believe, you know, that people put out there. They got really great pictures. In Texas, they got pictures of thunderbirds.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just got 2 books recently. One book was by Kenny Irish, the cryptopunkologist, and his is called American Cryptids. It's actually one of the number 2 seller on Amazon. And the other book I got is Barton Unley's book called Inhumanoids. And just getting into them now, and I mean, both are pretty excellent books. I mean, just to read books from just your local authors that know about these things, and they follow reports and they dig into it. I mean, it's great to be able to get information that way as well, because you're not going to find everything on the internet that you want to find, is what I'm saying. A
big Bigfoot researcher, his name is Carter Bouchard. You might want to look into Carter. He's excellent. The man is really, he puts out a lot of information. He actually loses money on his books that he published and put out into Amazon, but his books are phenomenal. Carter Bouchard. I just found out about him. Some gentleman just put up about thunderbirds. Just real quick, some knowledge for people out there. Thunderbirds, the Native American Indians do not think thunderbirds are bad or evil. They think they're a good sign. They're good. I guess it's white folk like us that, you know, it's everybody else, I should put it that way, besides Native Americans, that think that they're bad. They're not really bad. They really think that they are a good sign when you see a thunderbird. So, I mean, Texas is a big area for that. Huge area.
Awesome. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up, Nick. I think we're almost about 2 hours now. I think I went over, but I actually didn't mind going over, because we went all over the spectrum on, you know, encounters, Dogman, Bigfoot, safety equipment. I definitely think we should do this again, maybe mid-August, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, we'll talk about other stuff. I mean, like I said, I do all the cryptids, and I'm sorry if I offended anybody out there that you sell mugs and T-shirts and stuff of the cryptids, but you know, if I see it, I'm going to call it. And to me, that's what Mothman and Chupacabra and Jersey Devil were. And, you know, if Dogman, I'm still investigating. I'm doing field investigations. Like I said, we're going to take a security team out there, and we're going to have some big names out there also. Greg Yost, he's called the Squatch Man. He's coming.
I've had Greg Yost on. I've interviewed Greg Yost. I actually interviewed him, and he was actually interviewing live from his active spot in Indiana at his little park that he goes to.
Right.
And he was actually filming, while I was interviewing him at night in the woods, and he was, calling out for the forest people, the Bigfoot, but we didn't get any replies. I guess they were being stubborn, or they didn't want to, give face on the computer. But he did a great job. I followed him since he came out with the Curious George, and his first encounter when he started talking about it on. I think he was on. Brent and Son, maybe, or I forget who he was on when he first came out, but I was like, wow, he's a great guy, and I've been friends with him since.
He is the salt of the earth. He's a wonderful man. He's very passionate about what he does.
And he's humble. He's very humble. He doesn't. Humble. He don't have that ego.
50% of the time, he does get, when he brings people out into the forest, he does get Sasquatch to appear.
Yeah.
50% of the time, and these people don't know what they're asking for.
And he don't charge. The best part, he don't charge.
No,
you pay for your own. You pay for your own stuff. You pay for your campsite, and the rest he takes care of you.
It's funny though. He's Squatch man, big time, and I consider him my brother. I consider him a good friend of mine. I put up some pictures on my website of he and I. I mean, he's a big man. He's fully he's fully a head bigger than I am.
Well, he said he jokes around. He said he always says the Squatch think that he's one of their tribe because he's so big with his big beard that they think he's a grandpa Squatch.
But it's funny that he got the best pictures of a Dogman.
Yeah.
He was taking pictures one day of this forest area that he wanted to come back to, and he wanted to show, I think, his son. And when they printed them up, they had put it on their computer screen, there's pictures of two different Dogmen. And I put it on my site, the North American Dogman.
Yeah, I know. Is that the one that has that red tint to it? With the red, it has like a red outline around the ears. It almost has like a reddish hue around it, but you can see the perfect clear profile with the ears pointed. Yeah, I have that in the group. He let me share that as well.
The time of day, the sunlight was hitting. Yes. That's the reason why you're getting that. That's nothing paranormal or anything. But I mean, he's a Squatch man, and he got the two best pictures of a Dogman you could possibly get. And people got to remember out there, why can't we get pictures of Sasquatch and Dogman and all these other ones? Number one, they're out at nighttime hunting, and number two, they're really fast. And number three, most importantly, you see them, most of you people are going to be shaking in your boots. You're not thinking, oh, let me get my camera out.
Well, no. I know my theory is on this with the digital, we're in the digital era right now, right? Where everything's digital, microprocessor and a camera, the cell phone, all the megapixels. Well, back in the day, what did we use? We used a camera with a film that you wound, right? 35 millimeter or 8 millimeter, whatever it was with the crank cam. Well, those things took a better picture of something like that. But when you got all these things with pixels distorting everything with the megapixels, you're losing your primary image.
I had a Canon A1 with a machine drive on the bottom, so I could just press down and fire, and I'll get a ton of shots within a few seconds. But that's not what I was thinking when I got out of my Jeep that day. What I was thinking about was saving somebody. I did not know what that was, and here it is, years and years. And by the way, I should have mentioned to you, 2013, I came out with it in 2021 finally. The reason I didn't want people to go to that area and get themselves hurt or killed, and I didn't want the area to get polluted. I've been searching that area.
Right.
And,
you don't want a bunch of people going out there with guns and,
no, not at all.
Experienced people going out there with, Yahoo trying to find something, and God forbid something happened to them, and then you'd have to worry about, that you mentioned it.
I'll tell you about the other, not right now, but I'll tell you about the other New Jersey encounters that happened back in 2019 and 2020. Next time we're on the show. And I want to bring fresh new stuff. I don't want to give you some old stuff.
Well, I really appreciate it, Nick. Thanks again for coming on this live stream. And I look forward to having you on again. Maybe we could have a partnership with another, on your Dogman group or whatever. However you want to do it, we'll do it. And I'll be glad to do it with you again because I had a great time and I learned a lot. So thanks again.
Well, there's one other person who I'm going to, I don't want to go there with it. But there's only one other person from my group that I'd want to come on with me, so she can give the paranormal aspect to it, because there's such a thing as a tupla or a tupa that they call it, and Ashira 7 is who I'm speaking about right now. I can ask her to come on with us next time, and we can do the two of us back and forth with
Absolutely.
you. But it was a great time. I mean, I really appreciate you because you're very knowledgeable, and you got some good people over there on your show coming on, asking good questions.
I appreciate it, Nick. Like I said, I've been following this topic since I was probably about 10 years old. I mean,
Wow.
I think I did a report on UFOs after that movie Communion came out. My uncle worked in a Caterpillar bulldozer plant in Piscataway, New Jersey, the big Caterpillar place on 287. Well, he worked there back in the 80s as a data processor, and he used to just take me to work with him because he worked overnights, and I would just go there and on the computers and research stuff and do UFOs and print out papers, and I do my own book reports on them, and I just followed all these topics since I was young, and I loved it. I've always had a passion for it, and I just stuck with it, and here I am. So
Good show, great show. I love your gym.
I really appreciate it. I have a good base of people that are group members, and we all just want the truth out there and like to learn knowledge and keep the facts out. And I'm gonna if you want to send me the link to your Quad Coalition of Science, I will be glad to promote it on my group so we can get some more people on from my group to join it to learn more as well. Because like you said, if everybody could just get together and cooperate and it kind of just gathering of the minds, and everybody put their freaking egos aside and put their stupid differences aside of disagreements with this and that one, because there's so much of that going around in the community nowadays, and it's really sad. We can get so much accomplished.
Tom, besides the egos, just to throw it in there real quick, these are some I want to talk about. I'm not going to mention their names, but these are some people that are out there that a lot of people hear and know about, and I'm not going to give them any airtime. But besides the ego, it's they're looking for fame and they're looking to make money. I call you guys charlatans who do that. I make nothing. I've lost money on this. I've sent products out to my people that I had made up, and I lose on it because to ship something out cost me $7-8. I've made patches. Well, I don't know if you can see it.
It's kind of dark. I see a little bit. Yeah,
something's going on with my lighting over here.
That's okay.
But
I see that one. That's clear.
I made these patches up, sent them out for free. My mailing cost, no charge. Awesome. I've had hats and mugs, hoodies, shirts printed up. It cost me more to print them up and then to mail them out. I actually lose. People send me the money, and I don't have to do any taxing because I'm not a business.
Right.
It's just to promote cryptozoology and promote.
Exactly. That's my passion. I mean, all my studio stuff. I mean, I have a cheap microphone. I have a used laptop. I got a little bit of lighting. Yeah. Everything I bought on my own dime, and I'm not in here to make money or get famous because everyone knows it. And just the basic run of the mill, you're not going to make money on this unless you're really selling a brand. And I don't have a brand. I'm just trying to get the truth out there.
Is this going on YouTube, Tom?
This is going to go on YouTube. Yes.
If you could, because you're part of my group of NADP, if you could, when it does go on YouTube, just copy and paste the URL on there in there so that my people can see the interview, because I know they can't see it right now unless they join your group.
Right.
And I don't think they're going to do that right away.
Right.
By the way, is that a LED strip in the back of you?
That is an LED strip. Yes, it's a color coded. I can make it any color. Right now, it's like a green. It's actually, I mean, it probably doesn't look it right now, but it's actually like the green lightsaber for Luke Skywalker. But it looks blue for some reason, but it's actually green.
I think I purchased it for my son, and I think I also purchased the second one for myself, and I've never put it up. I don't know what it would look like here. Yeah, you had that thing too.
See, that's red. Yeah. That's Darth Vader red.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm starting to fade out over here. I have no idea why.
That's all right.
was trying to do the light better, but there it is now, and
There's your light, yeah.
Hits me in the eye. My God, you know what? This is so big that we could bounce from paranormal to cryptozoology to UFOs to regular zoology to funky animals they have out there. And like I said, we did safety. We did a little bit of field research. When you find a slash mark. Oh, I didn't tell you. A bear slash mark is generally 3 slashes on the tree if it does, but it's close together. A Dogman, it would be further apart. The reason is because
they're 4 for the Dogman.
What's that?
But the Dogman still be 3 claw marks?
No, it could be up to 4 claw marks because usually
they're further apart. They're spread far apart.
Yes, they're spread far apart because of the fact that they do have long claws, and what they're doing is they're trying to actually climb the tree most of the time, or they're slashing at something on the tree. But the thing is, I've never seen that 5th digit claw mark on a tree. We have photos of the claw marks and everything, but never a 5th one. But the reason is you can tell the difference between the bear one and that. Just like you should be able to tell the difference between bear scat and mountain lion scat and bear scat, because you want to know what's out there. It's like,
bear scat, most bear scat has berries in it because black bear around our area, they're eating berries and whatever kind of fruits. They're not eating animals, so most of their stuff's gonna have berries, blackberry, a little bit of fruit, muscadine, whatever they can get on, and
they go nuts. They go nuts for berries. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah,
they really go nuts for berries. So I mean, I'm not saying bring berries with you for a bear attack, but just stay away from the berries area. Stay away from, as soon as you see there's berries in that area, get away. Besides look up, I want to leave everybody with that. Yeah, besides look up, listen, people, when you're out there. If nature sounds stop, you've got an apex predator out there.
You got something getting ready to pounce on you.
Yeah, you've got a predator out there, so be aware. And please, people, buy some bear spray. It's not that expensive. A first aid kit and bear spray. You don't have to get these fancy, electronic flash bangs or anything.
I want to get some of those. That was pretty badass.
I'm telling you, really.
You gotta send me a link to find some of those. I just want to have.
Press this little button here, and they go.
Oh wow!
Next time we get together, I'll tell you about how we use these actually in a real life situation.
Awesome. Well, you have a great night, Nick, and everybody, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. I had an awesome time tonight, and have a good weekend.
Bye-bye now.
Night.